Have you ever wondered why some people work 18 hours a day and barely scrape by, while others seem to attract millions without breaking a sweat? What if I told you that hard work is actually the least important part of the equation? What if the real secret was something you've been doing every single day, but doing it completely wrong? Welcome to your channel, where we turn the world's most powerful books into life-changing ideas. Today, we aren't just summarizing a book, we are handing you the blueprint that created more millionaires than any other text in history. We are talking about Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, "Oh, I've heard of this, it's just about wishing for money," stop right there, because that is not what this book is about. This book is the result of 20 years of research. A man named Napoleon Hill was challenged by the richest man in the world at the time, Andrew Carnegie, to interview over 500 of the most successful people on Earth, people like Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Alexander Graham Bell. His goal? To find the magic formula, the common denominator, the specific mental switch that these men flipped to go from nothing to ruling the world. By the end of this video, you won't just know what that switch is, you'll know exactly how to flip it in your own life. So, lock your door, turn off your notifications, and let's dive into the story. To understand this secret, we have to start with a man who looked like a total failure. His name was Edwin C. Barnes. Picture this. It's the early 1900s. A freight train slows down in Orange, New Jersey. A man jumps off. He looks like a tramp. His clothes are worn out, he has no money, and he's dusty from the tracks. But when he walks toward the laboratory of the famous Thomas Edison, he isn't walking like a beggar. He's walking like a king. You see, Barnes didn't make that trip to ask Edison for a job. He didn't want to work for Edison. He made a decision, a crazy, illogical decision, that he was going to be Edison's partner. He had no qualifications. He knew nothing about invention. He didn't even have the money to buy a proper train ticket to get there. But he had the one thing that separates the dreamers from the achievers. He had a burning desire. Not a hope, not a wish, a pulse-pounding, obsessing desire that drowned out every other option. When he finally got the meeting, Edison looked at him and later said, he stood there looking like an ordinary tramp, but there was something in his face that conveyed the impression that he was determined to get what he had come after. Did Edison make him a partner right away? No, he gave him a job sweeping floors. Now, most people would have quit. They would have said, "Well, I tried, this isn't working." But Barnes didn't quit. For 5 years he swept floors, but in his mind he wasn't a janitor. Every single time he pushed that broom, he saw himself as Edison's business partner. He didn't have a plan B. He burned all his bridges. He told himself, "I will succeed or I will die trying." And then the opportunity came, but it came in disguise. Edison had invented a new dictating machine. His salesmen hated it. They said it couldn't be sold. Barnes saw his chance. He knew he could sell it. He approached Edison, got the contract, and sold the machine so successfully that Edison gave him exclusive distribution rights for the entire nation. The tramp became a millionaire, not because he was smart, not because he was lucky, but because he decided exactly what he wanted and he refused to accept any reality where he didn't get it. But let me tell you a different story, a story about what happens when you stop too soon. There was a man named R.U. Darby. During the gold rush, he got gold fever. He went west, staked a claim, and started digging. It was hard work, sweat, blisters, exhaustion, but finally he struck a vein of shining gold ore. He covered it up, went home, raised money from his relatives to buy machinery, and went back to make his fortune. Things were going great. The first car of ore proved they had one of the richest mines in Colorado. A few more cars, and they'd be debt-free and rich. Then, the vein disappeared. They kept drilling, desperately, day after day. Nothing. The pot of gold was gone. Finally, crushed and defeated, they quit. They sold their expensive machinery to a junkman for a few $100s and took the train home in shame. Now, the junkman was no fool. He called in a mining engineer to look at the mine. The engineer did a little calculation and said the project failed because the owners were not familiar with fault lines. He pointed to a spot and said, "Drill here." The junkman drilled, and he struck the gold vein just 3 feet from where Darby had stopped. 3 feet. The junkman made millions of dollars because he knew one thing: you never quit when things go dark. How many times have you been 3 feet from gold? How many times did you stop because the going got hard, not realizing that success was waiting just one step beyond your defeat? This is the first major lesson of the book. Temporary defeat is not failure. It is just the universe testing your persistence.
So, how do we actually do this? How do we build that kind of persistence and desire? Napoleon Hill breaks it down into principles that are almost like a software code for your brain. Let's look at the most powerful ones. Lesson 1: the transformation of desire. We all want money, but wishing won't bring it. You have to transmute that desire from a thought into a physical reality. Hill gives us a strict formula. You can't just say, "I want plenty of money." You have to be definite. How much? Exact dollar amount. By when? Exact date. And most importantly, what are you going to give in return? Because there is no such thing as something for nothing. You write this down and you read it aloud twice a day until you can actually see the money in your hands. Lesson 2: faith and autosuggestion. This is where it gets a little mystical, but stay with me. Your subconscious mind is like a fertile garden. It doesn't care if you plant corn or poison ivy. It will grow whatever you feed it. Most of us feed our minds fear, doubt, and poverty. I can't afford that. I'm not good enough. Autosuggestion is the act of voluntarily feeding your subconscious mind with positive orders. You have to lie to it, essentially. You have to convince your subconscious that you already have the success you want. When you mix a thought with a strong emotion, like faith or fear, it begins to translate into reality instantly. This is why worrying is so dangerous. Worry is just a prayer for what you don't want. Lesson 3: specialized knowledge. There's a great story in the book about Henry Ford. During World War I, a newspaper called Ford an ignorant pacifist. Ford sued them. In court, the lawyers tried to prove Ford was ignorant by asking him trivia questions like who was Benedict Arnold and how many soldiers did the British send to America. Ford finally got tired of it. He pointed his finger at the lawyer and said, "Why should I clutter up my mind with general knowledge when I have a row of electric push buttons on my desk? If I need to know something, I push a button and call a man who knows the answer." The lesson? You don't need to know everything. You just need to know what you want and surround yourself with people who have the specialized knowledge to help you get it. Hill calls this the mastermind. No great fortune has ever been built by a lone wolf. You need a group of minds working in perfect harmony toward a single goal. But here is the catch. You can have the desire. You can have the plan. You can have the mastermind group. But there is one enemy that will kill your success before it even breathes. It's an enemy that lives inside your own head. Hill calls them the 6 ghosts of fear. And if you're honest with yourself, you are probably haunted by at least one of them right now. The fear of poverty. This is the one that paralyzes you. It makes you stay in a job you hate because it's safe.
It makes you compromise with life instead of demanding what you're worth. The fear of criticism. This one kills your imagination. It makes you dress like everyone else, talk like everyone else, and act like everyone else because you're terrified of what they will say. The fear of ill health. The fear of loss of love. The fear of old age. The fear of death. These fears are nothing but states of mind, but they are powerful enough to destroy your ambition. They create indecision, they create doubt, and when indecision and doubt blend together, they become fear. You have to look these ghosts in the face. You have to realize that you have absolute control over only one thing in this entire universe, your own thoughts. That is your divine right. If you fail to control your mind, you may be sure you will control nothing else. The secret of Think and Grow Rich isn't really about money. Money is just the byproduct. The secret is that you become what you think about. If you think about poverty, failure, and fear, your subconscious mind will dutifully guide you to those things. But if you possess a burning desire, if you burn the bridges behind you, if you have the faith to see your success before it happens, and the persistence to keep digging when everyone else has quit, then nothing can stop you. As Napoleon Hill famously said, whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. This book is a journey, and we've only scratched the surface of the stories and lessons inside. I highly recommend you pick it up and read it for yourself. But for now, I have a question for you. What is the one goal you are willing to burn your bridges for? Let me know in the comments below. If this video sparked an idea in you, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Rick's Summary for more powerful insights that turn wisdom into wealth. Remember, you are the master of your fate. You are the captain of your soul. I'll see you in the next one.